Have you ever felt like giving up when it comes to sales? Have you felt like quitting your sales career? Have you felt like resigning and going to look for another profession? Maybe you feel demotivated and uninspired to sell. In this video, I'm going to show you what to do to stay inspired and to keep selling. It's going to be a series of videos, but we're going to start with our first session today. My name is Yoro Gwigwe. I've trained over 23,000 salespeople across 5 countries: Nigeria, Ghana, USA, UAE, Rwanda. I'm an author of several books on sales, and I'm featured on a lot of media platforms to talk about successful selling. I worked at an organization where I was told to bring 20 HNIs to the organization in a single month. I exceeded my target and I was able to bring 21 high net worth individuals to the organization in a single month. I also participated in a sales competition where I was sent for the World Cup for an all-expense paid trip. I moved on to another organization where I had a target in terms of credit card sales to bring 10 credit cards in a single month. I was able to do that. I moved to another organization where I grew a portfolio of $3.5 million to over $7 million in just 11 months. So with all these, I have templates and I've actually been through the experience of feeling uninspired and motivated to sell at certain times. And I'm going to show you what exactly to do to get yourself out of that sales slump. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, life seems to have a journey. And the journey of life doesn't seem to always be on a straight line. The journey of life seems to be like the valleys and the troughs. That's the bottom part. So, or the peaks and the valleys, right? The mountains and the valleys. Now, at some point in sales, you find yourself on the mountain, meaning, oh, everything seems to be going well, prospects are responding, sales are coming in, business is coming in the way you expect, prospects are responding to you the way you expect them to respond. At other times, it looks like you're in the valley, right? And at these times, it seems nothing is working. It seems you've made calls, nobody's speaking. It seems you've been engaging prospects, everybody seems cold, and you start to question and doubt what you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand that this is how life is. Think about it. In your past, in anything you've done, whether as a student, whether in school, whether when you were looking for a job, in anything you've done, there were times when it looked like, oh, it's so bleak, it's so dark. Even nature has darkness before light, or at least at night, maybe 6 a.m. it's still pretty much dark, like right now, pretty much dark. Then as it gets darkest, it suddenly starts to break the dawn and light starts to flow in. So what I'm trying to tell you is that understand that this is how nature is. Part of nature is the fact that sometimes things can go down. Sometimes. The issue is not that things went down. The issue is when things were down, were you committed enough to keep moving, to keep striving forward? Even think about how it was when you were in school. There were days that you were not in the mood to go to class. You were not in the mood to write exams. You were not in the mood to go to lectures. But nevertheless, you still kept moving, and that's how you graduated. In life, you're not going to graduate and make anything significant for yourself if you don't keep moving when things are not working. So my point of this video today is you just have to keep moving. You just have to keep taking the next step forward. Imagine if you had to walk to a particular destination and it was important. Maybe you were going for a job interview. Maybe you were going to see a prospect. Whatever it was, you wanted to go and see a loved one who needed help. And this was an important destination you had to go to. And all of a sudden, while you were walking there, all of a sudden you felt a sprain in your ankle. You probably would, despite that sprain, because of the importance of where you're going to, still keep moving. So one of the things that keeps people demotivated and makes them uninspired to keep selling is because the destination is not inspiring enough. It's not inspiring enough. See, the fruit of desire is pursuit. When there's a strong desire and there's a strong destination of where you're going to, definitely the inspiration will be a natural result. And that's why the first thing you want to ask yourself is, why are you in sales? Why? Why are you doing this particular job? Why are you in this career? Why are you in this profession? What's your drive? What's inspiring you? What's making you do what you do? How did I get into sales and what's inspired me to do what I do in sales? I remember while I was in university, I schooled in FUTA, Federal University of Technology, Akure. While I was in FUTA, I remember I had an opportunity to see a friend. His father was a professor, and he stayed in the BQ. That's what we call the boys' quarters. That's the smaller apartment behind the big house. He stayed there, so I went to see him there. And when I got into his room, I saw a particular book somewhere on the floor. I was not so interested in personal development then. But that book got my attention. So I picked up the book and I went through the book. I saw a story in that book. Of course, about that paragraph, I read that entire paragraph. And when I was done, I felt like, man, this is something I want to do. And it was a story of a man flying his jet helicopter on his way to an event. While he was flying his helicopter, he looked down from the helicopter and he noticed there was traffic in the city. Bumper to bumper, the cars were jammed. He now thought, I've spent so much money marketing, in telling people about my event. I hope people will make it to the event. Anyway, on getting to the venue of the event, he landed his helicopter on the helipad, got out of the helicopter, got into the hall. When he got on stage, the hall he had paid for could seat 5,000 people. However, 7,000 people were jammed trying to get in. He now realized that the reason for the traffic was because the whole city was coming to listen to him. When I read that story, I was inspired and I thought, what? Can I be this valuable and have people listen to me? So I said, I need to be like this guy. So from then, I started saying to myself, okay, how can I start to position myself for this journey, for these competencies, for this place I'm going to? And I realized that I needed to learn how to sell. I needed to have selling skills. I didn't have selling skills. So when I applied in an organization, I was never going to be a finance person, but I applied to work in a sales company. One of the sales companies was the banks. So I applied in one of the banks and they gave me a sales role to be selling to high net worth individuals. My first day, I remember I went through so much to get to the office. I went through so much. Apart from going through so much to get to the office, for the first month, I didn't have any salary. So I could barely eat. Man, I lost so much weight. I could barely eat. Transporting myself to work was a problem. Wow. It was a big challenge. But I pushed through. Why did I push through? I pushed through because I thought about that story I'd read. I said, I want to be like that guy. For me to be like that guy, I need to develop these competencies. And that's what I'm asking you today. What's your why? And your why could be in various categories. For example, in my notes here, while I was thinking about this morning, I said to myself, okay, what will you gain if you sell? What will you gain if you master this profession? Sometimes while I'm driving to work, many years ago, I remember I would be driving to work and I would see people queuing on the BRT lane. This was the days we had BRT in Lagos. I don't know if you still have that in Lagos here. But you queue on a BRT lane. It's long queue. And I'll be thinking in my heart, I said, what? Why are these people going through so much? Why are they, in quotes, suffering? That was the way I saw it. I said, because there's an opportunity to sell and earn money so that you can have a much easier and a much better life. So, what will you gain if you sell? Number one, money. Definitely, because selling, there is nothing as painful as working in an organization. You bust your budget, meet your targets, but you don't get a promotion. You don't get a salary raise. The same salary, maybe it's 200,000, the same money, you still go home with it, but you're busting your budget. Maybe you're listening to me and you're in that situation. It's fine. Naturally, in all labor, there's profits. This means that even if you're not seeing the money directly yet, something is happening on the inside, which of course eventually will create you to better opportunities. And I was in that situation where I was busting budgets, meeting targets, but no salary increase came, no promotion came, nothing plus, nothing extra came. So you can imagine, you can just imagine what it took to just keep moving. It was the why for me. So for you, you could have the opportunity, possibly you work in an organization where you do profit sharing, you get commissions on sales. I never had any commission on sales. You get commission on sales, so money is there. So that can be motivation. You can decide, okay, you know what am I going to buy? What do I want to work on? Okay, do I want to move to a better apartment? Projects inspire action. Do I want to move to a better apartment? Do I want to travel? Do I want to get a car? When you have a project in front of you and you've calculated the amount of money you require, you've gone to check the house, you've gone to check for the car, you've gone to check for the things you desire to get. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be drive. You will find yourself waking up, getting up, getting ready to go out and prospect and do what you need to do because of the inspiration to earn a little more money. Another aspect that could make you, what else you could gain if you sell is the opportunities in your industry. Are you aware that there are certain industries, for example, if you look at our country, Nigeria, you'll notice that at a certain point, all of the banks, the top banks in this country, they were all run by guys or ladies and gentlemen at a particular age range. Between 29 and 35, most of them were the CEOs then. You can imagine that young age. That was an opportunity in an industry. Or even if you look at how our nation was run several years ago, the people who were running our country, Nigeria, they were at a certain age range in their 30s. That was an opportunity and a timing. Today, what industry are you in? Could there be an opportunity and a timing like that in that industry right now? Why don't you realize that, hey, let me not step out of the flow. Let me stay in the flow so that I can get the best from this industry. And the opportunities may not just be industry opportunities. It could even be opportunities based on the person who is running your organization at that time. Sometimes I've seen cases where a new CEO came to an organization and he changed everything. The best time to have enjoyed and made the best of it was when the former CEO was around. So who knows? Could that be another opportunity? So what are the opportunities right now? Look out for them. Could it be the kind of boss that's leading your team? Could it be that you have a boss who genuinely cares, who is constantly giving you training, who is constantly inspiring you? And this could help you move your career to the next level. Could that be the opportunity? Look out for what the opportunity really is right now. Because in life, when there are challenges, there are always opportunities simultaneously. Life doesn't give us opportunities only. Life doesn't give us challenges only. Life gives us an equal dose of challenges and opportunities all at the same time. And it's not 50-50. It's 100%, 100%. Meaning that it's like two sides of a coin. You can't have one and not have the other. So while there are challenges right now, check out what the opportunities are for you. Another aspect that you could gain if you sell is the relationships you may never have gotten if you didn't sell. There are people that selling would force you to meet. See, if they say that your network determines your net worth. How true? Very true. Because if you stay, in fact, research has even shown that if you change where you live, I saw the research, I was shocked. If you change where you live, you will possibly and most likely change how much you'll be earning. Because where you live affects you mentally, psychologically, because of the people you are seeing, because of the possibilities. You're seeing people who are much younger than you, or who are the same age like you, or who are just slightly older than you, but you look at the kind of things they have, the kind of things they are doing. You'll be wondering, you'll be inspired. So there are relationships that your life will be restricted to the people that you know, people who you grew up around with. They say that you'll be the same in 5 years from now, except for the books you read, places you go to, and the people you meet. So if all the people you've met all your life have brought you to where you are right now, imagine if through doing this job successfully, diligently, you open up your world to meeting new people and other people. Ladies and gentlemen, it will change everything for you. It will change everything for you. I've heard so many stories in the sales profession. People who all of a sudden met, in fact, it's because it's video, I'm even careful to mention some names. There's a very popular, wealthy billionaire in this country. I met a lady who mentioned, at this time, she had resigned from work. She said she was somehow outside her office trying to look for prospects. All of a sudden, this man walks up to her and says, yes, what do you do? She mentioned, she told him what he does, what she does. He says, do you have a target? Says, yes, I have a target. He says, come to my office. This lady tells me that this man tells the CFO to move billions to her portfolio. And that's how this lady was called to head office, was promoted immediately. She did so well in her career just because it was just so funny. Time and chance. She was outside in front of her office, and this man walks up to her and says, I want to help you. So my point in this, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that what will you gain if you sell? Identify the why and stick with it. Are you aware that not only would your relationships benefit you in terms of people you meet in terms of prospects, but the colleagues you work with as well? There are people who you work with. I remember in my wife used to work in an organization where the central bank, the deputy CBN governor, was taken from her office to Abuja. That's the Federal Capital Territory here in Nigeria. she says, when the lady was going, she just looked around and she says, you follow me, you follow me, you follow me. And she got some people to follow her over there. My point is, those people could not have had that kind of opportunity. Why did they have that opportunity? Because they were her colleagues. So the point is, even having colleagues as well, the colleagues, the people who they would introduce you to, the people who you would become because you have met them, or the person you will become because you have met the colleagues you work with, can be a game changer for you as well. So before we go into tomorrow's session, I want you to take out some time and ask yourself, hey, you know what will I gain if I stick to this? And write some things down. And from time to time, when you look like, before you make that decision to quit, you see, the decision to start was a very important decision. And the decision to start, many factors were considered when you wanted to start. Do you know that when people want to quit, the factors they consider when they wanted to start, they don't consider those factors when they want to quit. So what do you have to do right now? If you feel like quitting, first of all, go and consider the factors upon which you started. So that even if you quit, you will be convinced that this is the right move to make now. And you will not be quitting just out of emotions, such that after quitting, you now say to yourself, oh, if only I had stayed. Oh, if only I had stayed. Someone says, regrets weighs kilograms. Not taking action at all would weigh kilograms. But taking risks and failing would weigh only grams. So take advantage of the opportunities that this industry presents to you, and let's see how you can win. Tomorrow's video, we're going to be looking at what could you lose if you decide to quit. We'll also look at the exact reasons why you may be uninspired and the things to do to convert that being uninspired to being inspired, to convert that circumstance or situation of being uninspired to being inspired. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video with others who you feel may be wanting to throw in the towel. Please remember to like, remember to comment, and please tell me if you've ever felt like quitting before. I want to hear from you. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.